Okay, Kazuha, wo läufst du rum?
It's been a while since we first set foot on Inazuma. So many things have happened since. Yeah, we've definitely made some progress on her. So, where should we go? Huh? Oh.
Ah, okay. Da begegnen wir dem verfluchten Schwert.
Hey! What the heck was that for? Doesn't want to talk, huh? All right, let's convince him to calm down a little.
Warte, jetzt.
Retribution!
Okay, was hat der denn für eine Verteidigung?
Huh? So you don't have a vision after all. Seems like I've mistaken you for someone else.
At the very least, you should make sure you've got the right person. No, wait. Even when you've got the right person, you shouldn't go attacking.
Have you ever met someone by the name of Kaedahara? He carries a sword just like you. I've also heard that he possesses an animal vision. That's none of your business. Never mind. You don't look like you know anything anyway. I'm wasting my time.
Ja, okay.
What the heck is this guy's problem?
Okay, ja, das war
Coming
komplett
around here,
skriptet.
waving that weird sword in our faces. I mean, well, one thing's for sure. No way are we right? Anyway, just to be on the safe side. Oh? What kind of hunch? A special connection? You mean, yeah. Anyway, there's no time to lose. Paimon heard that the Crux fleet is stocking up in Rito at the moment. Let's look for him.
Ganz zufällig sind die mit ihrem Schiff im Hafen. Toll. Warum geht der Mann denn nicht gleich zum Hafen? So. Mal gucken. Aber die sind hier gar nicht. Ich habe gedacht, die sind jetzt mit einem kleinen Schiff hier. Das große Schiff liegt irgendwo verankert in der Nähe.
Do you know where Kazuha is?
You're looking for Kazuha too, huh? Guess he must have done something impressive after all. Well, we took the small vessels into Rito on a routine supply run, only this time, as soon as we entered the harbor, we ran into a huge crowd of Inazumans. If it's because of that battle on Nizuchi Beach, Captain Beto had a great run there too, but I don't see her getting this kind of attention. Kazuha keeps to himself most of the time. In fact, there are times when he doesn't even listen to the captain.
Oh, so you still...
I've heard bits and pieces. Something about him blocking the Raiden Shogun's Muso no Hitotachi. Is it really as big a deal as everyone's making it out to be?
Es ist der einzige außer uns, der 2 Elemente benutzt hat. Also
Really?
ja.
Wow. He was called away earlier by some people from the Tenryo Commission. They said they had something important. I thought they'd come to arrest him at first.
Just a little while ago, this would have been thank you. Guess we'll go pay a visit.
All right then.
Also für mich gibt es dann vorerst kein Kazuha und kein Heizong. Denn ich werde jetzt für die Dendro-Charaktere sparen für 3.0 bis Ende August, Anfang September. Hatten beide ihre Chance.
Oh? It's you.
Greetings. We were just discussing the repealing of the Vision Hunt decree. Since you're here, you're very welcome to listen in on the conversation. We invited Mr. Kaedahara here to extend a gesture of goodwill on behalf of the Shogunate. Your hard work has secured for us the agreeable state of affairs that we now enjoy. Also, I've been granted the chance to correct my clan's past mistake. The Almighty Shogun has issued a large array of directives aimed at resolving, or at least easing, the tensions that have built up over the years. The Tri-Commission has made the recommendation to use this opportunity to restore the honor of the Kaedahara name. Regarding the history of the Kaedahara clan, I trust that you're already somewhat informed? In short, there was once a group of select bladesmiths who served the Shogun directly, responsible for upholding and further developing the traditional blade forging arts of the Almighty Shogun. But there came a time when some of these bladesmiths revolted and fled to Snezhnaya. Both the Kaedahara and Kamisato clans were held accountable for lax oversight and entered a period of great turmoil. We later learned that the whole misadventure had been secretly orchestrated by the Fatui. Attributing all of the blame to the Kamisato and Kaedahara clans was neither proper, considering Mr. Kaedahara has once more made an outstanding contribution to Inazuma. The Almighty in the interest of preventing further harassment of the Bladesmith clans by the Fatui.
This is a true honor. However, would I be...
I can assure you that nothing could be further from with the Kaedahara clan's reputation and you will be able to lead a safe and prosperous life in Inazuma.
I have grown accustomed to life among the elements. I fear I would not. Yet my ancestors did indeed take great pride in the name of Kaedahara.
I sense some hesitation in your words. Should you accept this offer, I am...
Malicious rumor?
Well, to some, the Muso no Hitotachi is something that can never be defeated. They cannot accept the idea that Mr. Kaedahara really parried the Shogun's strike. Also, eyewitnesses saw him using the power of Electro in addition to that of Animo. As a result, the falsehood that Kaedahara Kazuha was using a delusion began to spread.
What? But...
That is correct. However, to some people, the idea of a single person wielding two elements at once is a more inconceivable notion still.
This is just one of many similar rumors. I am very uncomfortable with being the subject of but perhaps if the Shogunate is willing to publicly support me, this situation will...
This is precisely why I encourage you to give our offer some...
In fact, let us put this discussion on hold for the moment. Well then, what brings the two of you here?
Da ist ein Verrückter unterwegs, der dich umbringen will.
Yikes! We nearly forgot about the most important thing!
Why would such a dangerous individual be looking for me? No, this puzzles me as much. My fighting forms were taught to me by my family, based on techniques originally developed for blade testing. We undergo rigorous training to standardize every motion the blade is put through, so over time these techniques came to form something of a Kaedahara sword art. Those forms are quite different from the more practical ones typically used by samurai in battle.
All the more reason to watch your back!
Indeed.
In that case, I will send some men out immediately.
Thank you. I must say I am now very curious about this matter. I will first join the Traveler in investigating the one...
Very well. Please stay safe.
Come on. Let's go and track down your aggressor.
The detective agency knows the most about what goes on in town.
Ja, ich hätte auch gern Detective in meiner
Let's see what
Gruppe.
Legy has to say.
Paimon, right in die Feelings. Die weiß ganz genau, dass ich den nicht gepult habe und muss das erwähnen.
Hey there! We'd like to ask you a quick question. Do you know if anyone around here has been...
Aha! So this is the renowned Mr.
You are too kind. We are currently investigating an assault and...
Oh? You were targeted in an assault? Mr. Kaedahara is currently the talk of the town. To be honest with you, our detective agency has recently been... Some of them were offering us millions of mora just to gather the information they want.
Millions? Of Mora?
Please, accept my thanks for looking...
Of course. No matter... But I wouldn't know where to begin if we want to connect this...
Then let's put that connection aside for now. The Tenryo Commission had very few leads.
It's true that the commissioners aren't clued up about every little thing that... If anyone had been out there
Uh-oh. Looks like the trip...
I still find it difficult to believe that few people possess your prowess in battle. so I am well aware of your talents. There is no need to be humble around me. In fact, it would cause me great grief to see someone become critically injured or lose for the poor victim.
Don't worry. We'll...
It seems you are every bit the selfless.
You flatter me.
You are oh, let me tell you about it just in case.
Sure. During times like this, the more info...
All right then. Recently, 2 people went missing from the city at around the same time. One of them is a pretty well-known collector, surnamed Nagato. The other, Amenoma Yuya, is a samurai from the Amenoma...
Amenoma! Now there's...
Right. Yuya is the nephew of 2 grown men going... I recalled this because Amenoma Yuya is also an accomplished...
Understood. Though it seems highly...
Sure! Can't hurt! We...
Thank you, Ryuji. We'll start...
Sounds good.
Also heißen, der eine hat das Schwert gefunden, der andere hat es gekauft und wir haben jetzt Probleme. Beziehungsweise der eine hat das Schwert aus einem Grab geklaut. Und wollte vom Schmied wissen, wie viel das wert ist oder heile gemacht haben oder sowas.
Kazuha.
You two...
Yes. The Kaedahara and Amenoma clans were both members of the Raiden Go after I returned to Inazuma.
Ja, ja,
Yes.
uninteressant.
Though all bladesmiths trace their craft back to the same source, over time, each of us has arrived at a different blade-making philosophy. As an example, the Amenoma art strives to emulate the abiding patience and determination of water. There is nothing mystical to our work. There is only practice, day in and day out. As for the art of the Kaedahara clan, I believe it's called the Ishin art.
That's right. Ishin art strives for complete harmony between blade and mind. For only a blade thus forged can capture and convey its maker.
Indeed. You are, without a doubt, the most worthy wielder of an Ishin blade. It gladdens my heart to see that although the Kaedahara clan has fallen...
You overestimate me. But let's get back on topic. The purpose of our visit today is to gather some info. We hope to assist with the investigation.
Ah, yes. My nephew. I reported the case to the Tenryo Commission. He didn't say a word before he left. But I've done what I can so far.
We heard that there was a collector involved.
Yes. On the morning that Yuya went missing, he gave me a very cryptic look and said that he was going to give me a great gift.
Mhm.
I believe he went to collect the item from Mr. Nagato Yes. Strange, isn't it? If I had to guess, it must have been He's never been particularly... He is
Truth be told, based on the evidence we have gathered so far...
What? No, he is humble and Yes, but... I also cannot know what... Anyway...
Don't worry, you have our word.
From the sound of that, Paimon doesn't think Yuya was the one who attacked us as well.
Yes. It sounds as if something happened when the 2 men met each other. Let's pay a...
Jetzt muss ich wieder hoch. Hey.
I'm very sorry, but we cannot afford to pay what we owe right now. My husband has...
No.
Ah, I see. I'm sorry you have to see me in this dreadful state.
I'm afraid we don't have any new info. With this in mind, can we...
For example, Paimon's...
That's a long story. Ever since I've known him, he'd always get so animated when he was showing them to me. I knew nothing about the items myself, but seeing how everything was fine when we first got married,
Uh-oh. What?
he lost his sense of restraint. He started buying more and more things, and even resorted to borrowing money just so he could pay for them.
Hört sich nach einem guten RTL 2-Format an.
Our expenses really spiraled out of control when he started getting interested in weapons. It was all. He wouldn't sell them, wouldn't even touch them. I'm happy he has a hobby, and I'm willing to. On the last day that I saw him, I gave him an ultimatum. I said, if he refused to sell his collectibles and pay off his debts, I would divorce him and take the children with me.
Böse. Sehr, sehr böse.
And that led...
Actually, it didn't. Generally, he's a quiet man who likes to go. You must understand, I never would have dreamed of threatening him with divorce if the debts hadn't pushed our family to the brink. After I said those words, he froze and was silent for a long time. His voice was so meek and pitiful that I felt an urge to take everything back. But then what? If I didn't draw the line, what would happen to our family?
Was ist denn das? Was sind das für Antwortmöglichkeiten? Damit bin ich nicht zufrieden. Sie hätte einfach sein Zeug nehmen können und das verkaufen können. Das wäre ihm bestimmt nicht aufgefallen, wenn er da wirklich so ein Messi ist und das alles gesammelt hat. Sie droht ihm gleich. Ich hau ab und nimm die Kinder mit. What the fuck?
Had I not indulged his bad habits, we wouldn't have found ourselves in such a predicament. And I also don't know if he had actually come to his senses, or if he was simply angry. The next thing I heard was that our warehouse had caught fire, and both he and the buyer had gone missing.
I see. Ame no miHoYo came to purchase a weapon from Mr. Nagato. During the sale, a fire broke out at the warehouse.
At first, I assumed they must have gotten in, but my husband has never been one to negotiate. He never even haggles when he's out buying groceries, so it's hard to imagine him getting into a fear.
Maybe he...
I don't know. He just disappeared after the warehouse. Perhaps he's too afraid to come home now that all his collectibles have been lost in the fire, and he's got no way to pay off our debts.
Ja, hättest du mal einfach das Zeug verkauft, während er kurz nicht hinguckt, wäre das nicht passiert. Sorry, aber das ist... Er ist schuld, er macht das. Ich kann nichts dafür. Sehr, sehr wie einseitig.
Even though I'm still a little mad at him, we're a family, and I want us to face our family's crisis together. As long as he's willing to turn over a new leaf, I know we can work things out.
Please don't get upset. If collecting things is a habit that Mr. Nagato had his whole life, it is quite unusual for this habit to change, but the information we gathered from the other side suggests Ame no miHoYo is also a mild-mannered man who would...
A little confusing. More like completely mystifying.
Let's try a change of scenery, and rest assured, we'll...
Thank you so...
Based on the information we've gathered so far, I can only surmise that the sales meeting between the two men was somehow the catalyst for their disappearance. The fire at the warehouse likely played a part in how the situation... Do you have any thoughts?
Nope, never mind. Paimon's brain needs to rest for a while. Over to you.
Right. I very much agree with you. Working off what we know so far, the chances are that there are still some clues. One fact that I keep coming back to is that Ame no miHoYo is polite and well-mannered, while Mr. Nagato is introverted and passive. Neither seems like Mr. Nagato, being heavily in debt, is also the only one of them with the potential motive to disappear after the fire. The more I ponder it, the more puzzling it becomes. Just what could have happened there? Right. Although the time frame seems to broadly match, Amenoma Yuya lacks a key distinguishing feature of the attacker. Namely, that he is principally a practitioner of the blade testing techniques of Amenoma art, not those of the combat or—
Darn! We thought we could get 2 birds.
Let's keep going. If we can solve the case, both Mr. Amenoma and Mrs. Nagato will be able—
Okay, but
Let's head out of the city and check out the warehouse.
Wieder zur anderen Seite der Stadt.
Wait. I hear something ominous in the—
oh! This must be another one of those sound as sketchy as that whole thing seems. You did put it to—
Now I'm picking up a strong scent in a—
But there's nothing here.
It's gone now, but I can still sense that it felt very much like that ancient presence in Inazuma. Indeed. But this unexpected spring— We should remain vigilant.
So it's an underground—
The force is definitely coming from— The source of the Tatarigami energy has long since left this place. But the judging from the concentration, I would have to conclude that the Tatarigami source resided here for a very—
Mrs. Nagato said her husband used to hang around the warehouse.
It could well be that he was already under the influence of From what I've been told, Tatarigami does not turn all upon whom it pricks, but most will develop a stubborn streak upon being exposed to the Tatarigami's unfulfilled will. Mr. Nagato had an interest in collecting to begin with. The influence of Tatarigami could explain why he became an obsessive hoarder.
So what should we do now? Go—
Step back. I'll open the door and take a look inside. If we don't open this door, we can move no closer to the— You needn't worry. Both of us have faced far great—
Sagt jetzt. Was ist, wenn auf einmal ein Boss kommt? Uns verprügelt?
What's down there?
Everything's buried in debris. I can't see anything. It looks like the fire caused a cave-in, reducing the entire warehouse to rubble.
That was too scary. Paimon was—
All we can do now is keep searching in the direction that the Tatarigami energy source— 2 ordinary humans, entangled with the Tatarigami. Yes, let's go. Quiet your mind and focus on what— From this point, the trail appears to split into 2. The main source of the Tatarigami energy continued on into the distance, but a small portion remained here. Quite possibly.
Whoa! Look at all those hilly churls. They're acting really strangely.
Something seems to be drawing their attention. Let's take a closer look.
Ihr seid nicht... Oh, er ist nicht gestorben.
I'm going in! Let's light it up!
It's,
Ugh.
by the looks of it, a letter. Writ well.
What? Okay.
According to this letter, a conflict arose because Ame no miHoYo wanted to seize a blade belonging to Mr. Nagato. Yuya started the fire that destroyed the warehouse and wounded Mr. Nagato in the fight.
So, where...
He was not only mortally wounded, but also under the heavy influence. Whatever traces there may have been of his fate beyond after this point. Yes, right now, if Ame no miHoYo is attacking other people indiscriminately...
Right! So let's get moving!
I wouldn't be surprised if he, too, fell prey to the influence of the for a practitioner of the martial arts, all the clues that at first seemed disparate. I have a hypothesis that, if it's correct...
Wait! You figured it out?
I believe so. But it's something of an outlandish idea. On with the search.
Adventure time!
Ganz zufällig.
He seems to have stayed here for a long time.
Why here? Is there...
I'm not sure.
Show yourself!
Kaedehara Kazuha. It's you, at last.
Aha! What's your problem, huh? What...
Indeed, there should be no enmity between us. But what if instead of facing Ame no miHoYo, we are in fact facing the blade in his hand?
Yes.
Now that you mention it, it is giving off a strange Whoa! Surely you don't...
Tatarigami energy often lodges itself with... The blade has resided in Mr. Nagato's warehouse for many years. Or rather, as a means to occupy Ame no miHoYo's body.
You're sharper than I thought. You've already... Many years ago, I was forged by a famed bladesmith of the Ishin tradition. I was his pride and joy. In me, he placed all his hopes and... As a descendant of the Kaedehara clan, you should be able to guess our greatest regret.
I presume it has something to do with the Raiden Gokaden.
Indeed. At that point in time, he failed to live up to the Raiden Shogun's expectations. In the end, he was a bladesmith of great renown, a master of his craft. There was nothing that he could not accomplish. And sure enough, in the end, he achieved what he had set out to do. All of his life's work, his wisdom, he not only bestowed upon me the greatest of strength, but also endowed me with a consciousness of my own. In her conceit, the Raiden Shogun lost not only the single most perfect blade in the entire world, but also an irreplaceable achievement.
So... swords? Can be...
The people of the time in which I was born never believed I had that kind of power. They saw me as a mere blade, a sharp and well-crafted. After the death of my creator, I decided to leave Snezhnaya and began my long quest to return to the distant land of Inazuma. I seek but one thing: to face the full force of the Raiden Shogun's blade and prove my power, the might of Ishin art.
So Ame no miHoYo was not your first. Tell me, what happens to those you've possessed when...
My hosts? Who cares what happens to them? When they got tired, or injured, or unusable, I hopped to the next one in line. All I needed them for was to take me back to Inazuma.
You're awesome! beautiful.
After I returned to Inazuma, I decided to bide my time in Nagato's warehouse until Amenoma Yuya handed himself over to me on a silver platter. At long last, I'm approaching my journey's destination. Kaedehara Kazuha, you stood against the Raiden Shoguns. Now,
Time for takeoff. Here comes the catch.
Wind Strider!
do not stand in my way, or I will strike you down too!
Your bluff's fooling no one. You've lost.
Lost? I can never lose. It is this body that has reached its limit, nothing more. Even if you defeat me here, the one who falls will not be me, but this man. He is but a puppet that can be replaced. I can take a new vessel at will. The end result is the same! I will end this wretch's life before you can lift a fi- And even if I were to lose my physical form, it is but a small setback. My consciousness shall endure by any means necessary, and any medium available. I shall return and fulfill my destiny!
Your fighting style. It is indeed the forms of Ishin art, but from your movements, I sense only hatred and arrogance.
Really?
As I've mentioned before, the forms of Ishin art can... Since the blade is currently possessing Amenoma Yuya's body, its movements express the innermost thoughts of the blade. If you ask me, the mania is probably due to your desperate, single-minded ambition. You believe I am your only hope.
Are you trying to claim that I am helpless without... On his deathbed, he passed to me all of Ishin Art's secrets. The little that you... In that regard, why would I ever need your help?
Because all of that is in the past. I've been wondering why you've not caused more trouble in all the years that you've been in Inazuma. If you are indeed a cursed blade that can possess its owner. Now that I've seen inside your mind, everything finally makes sense. You weren't biding your time. You were trapped. After all the time that's passed, you have grown weak. To the point that you are now
Oh, that's right. Paimon remembers now.
Only when Mr. Nagato witnessed his wife's distress and decided to sell his collectibles did you finally have an opportunity to reach out to Amenoma Yuya and make your escape.
And what of it?
Well, that brings me to my second point. There's a despair in you that is... You were determined to fulfill your maker's ambition, whatever the cost. I think you realized your limitations long ago. The more you clenched your teeth and pressed forward, the greater your fear of losing everything you had achieved grew. But the way I see it, what began as an ambition has long since become a delusional fantasy.
What would you know about any of this? I'm just one step away from achieving my goal!
You returned to Inazuma to prove the unparalleled brilliance of Ishin art. But to make this arduous, even if you were to sever that divine light, is this truly the outcome that you're... Sure, you inherited the secrets of Ishin art. But even as you made your... How could you possibly unleash the full potential of Ishin art when you act in perfect discordance with the...
Silence, you I must achieve my... I will concede that you are most
And you should face reality.
Easy for you to say. Facing reality offers me... I have no need of anything that would stand in my way. Not hesitate. It is pointless to argue.
How stubbornly you stick to... I do not believe for a second that you can challenge the almighty Shogun in your current state.
What? Surely...
Very well. Then find yourself some enemies with whom you wish to cross-blade. Once we have dealt with them...
And as for your end of the bargain, if you lose...
I accept.
Don't do this, Kazuha!
This is the only way... The cursed blades, the power of the Tatarigami...
But...
Even if things take a turn, we have a chance here to save an innocent victim.
Your disdain for me betrays your woeful ignorance. Now.
Kazuha?
Oh, müssen wir jetzt
I
Kazuha
felt a little
verprügeln?
dizzy at first. It's all right. So far, this was as I expected. I will.
What should we do next?
We find some enemies. Although this blade has endured much turmoil, it probably hasn't experienced many real fights. If a blade built for Ishin art cannot enter a state of harmony between blade and bearer, if he wants to avoid reality...
Wait a minute! Since the Takasukasa clan abandoned that secret base...
All right.
What about...
The blade says he'll let Amenoma Yuya trail us silently.
Are we sure this... Okay, fine.
Oh, schade. Ich dachte, Kazuha kämpft jetzt gegen uns. Wir besiegen ihn einfach. Und das Schwert sieht ein, dass es nicht stark genug ist. Schade, schade. Von wo gehen wir? Jetzt haben wir so ein Stück klettern. Von da können wir einfach runter. Ah, hier sind wir. Okay. Hier waren wir ja schon mal drinne. Das haben wir so lassen, können wir so lassen. Ja. So also nicht stark genug. Dass wir da irgendwelche großen Probleme hätten. Bitte lasst das Schwert, wenn wir das hinterher haben, auch so leuchten. Das wäre so geil.
Leave everything on this journey to me.
Wie diese nicht vorhandenen Leichen mich immer noch blocken.
Fallen leaves, adorn my night!
How are you feeling? You okay?
I'm all right. The blade is performing largely as I expected. Having gone so long without proper use and maintenance, it's become very difficult to use. Though he's making every effort to persevere, I do not think he can last much longer.
Something else on your mind?
How strange. Rather than trying to control me, let's keep going.
Kann eigentlich Kazuhas Stats... Haha, ja. Level 82, 100, 900. Okay. Aha. Also das sollte natürlich irgendwas bei 900 sein. Er hat kein Anemo-Damage-Bonus. Ach so, er hat altes Hofritual. Aha.
Time to go.
Loot. Beinahe am Loot vorbeigelaufen. Hey Boys. Ja, wenn man so einen heftigen Schlag macht, macht er irgendwie so ein...
Whoa! Something's up with the blade!
I can sense that his strength is slowly fading. He cannot hold out much longer. If
But what would that do to
I will be careful with it. He's still trying to achieve it.
Wir haben ja auch dieses andere verfluchte Schwert. Können wir hier nicht wechseln, ne? Der. Was man damals bekommen hat mit dem Drachenhort, mit dem Schneegebiet. Ja, guck, seine Dingskraft geht weg. Das heißt, wir kriegen das nicht so schön leuchtend. Schade. Hey, ich bin extra ausgewichen.
Into the wind.
Nö.
One with nature.
Are you okay? It looked like you were really struggling the entire fight.
Yes. And it looks like he's reached his...
The sheen's grown a bit dimmer again.
Perhaps this time we'll finally have a chance to see his true form.
True form? What are you talking? Is this the same blade as before? It looks like a piece of junk.
If you choose to continue in the state you're in, you wouldn't even be able to beat Samurai and Kairagi. Maybe you did truly wield power to rival the Shogun's light when first forged. But the long journey from Snezhnaya back to Inazuma has left you battered and broken. It barely needs stating anymore. Your ambition is a flight of fancy. I've finally figured out why it was that you agreed to my bet. You wanted to reach a state of harmony with me. For perhaps then, but regrettably, we are nothing alike. The only one who truly understood you had already passed away by the time.
Huh? What's that supposed to
Here they are! Take them down!
Where do they keep coming from? Yup. We can help this.
Don't worry. I'll use my own blade. It's just more of the same. Wind Strider! Clouds hide. The birds call.
You fought way better with your own.
You are a true Kaedehara in flesh and in... No one knew anything of my... I thought that if I could achieve Ishin harmony with you, perhaps there would still be a ray of hope for me.
But in this too, you have failed.
Indeed. No, too much time has passed. My physical state is poor, and without yours is the blade that took on the Muso no Hitotachi. And what...
Actually, this is just a generic blade that I picked up during my travels in Liyue. Forging and maintenance are both important for a blade, but they are not. This blade has traveled the land with me for many years, and we have formed a close bond during that time. Plus, in the moment that I most needed it, I received aid from another skill, blade, determination, and desire. There is something else I must tell you. Though your maker may not have been aware, your ability to possess your own consciousness derived from the power of the Tatarigami. Tatarigami is a malevolence from the ancient past. It is the source of your mania and savage. Though you tried to cooperate with me while I was wielding you, the part of you driven by Tatarigami...
I sensed it, but I couldn't...
I resisted its temptations because I wanted to save Amenoma Yui. I feel a great sense of regret for you. The moment you embarked on this journey, you lost the only person who could have ever unleashed your true potential. You have known this for a long time.
He gave me everything. How could I possibly... I said to him... How could I go back on my...
Aww.
I believe our bet is now settled. I have nothing further to say.
Where are you going, Kazuha?
He now has neither the ability nor the motivation to cause further harm. When I touched the hilt for the first time, it's as if I was transported to a strange dimension. A bladesmith lay quietly on the bed, his frail face barely visible. A newly forged blade lay by his side.
Wow. That would...
Indeed. While in exile in Snezhnaya, the bladesmith eventually learned the truth behind everything that had happened. He spent the rest of his life in the forge, not to vent his frustration and hatred. He felt intense regret at being tricked by the Fatui, but he could never again return to his homeland. So he instructed this sentient blade to find a way back to Inazu. All he wanted to show was that they once...
So that would... After that, the blacksmith and...
Right. This blade has committed unforgivable atrocities, but only because it lost its original master. Yes. Time would not wait or stop. He seems to have calmed down, though.
Ja, ihr könnt mir nicht eine Truhe zeigen und dann sagen, hey, geh mal wieder zurück. So nicht. Sonst war aber hinten die eine und diese Truhe. Oh.
When I look back at the past, I once told him that I would pay any price to fulfill, but darkness and slaughter numb the mind. Not only did I fail to fulfill his ambition.
You are finally seeing reality clearly.
Since we agreed to the terms of the bet, I will but I still cannot bring myself to forsake his. So,
Hey! Now you're adding yours into the...
it has to be done in this order. At least my physical form, as well as the knowledge I possess.
His attitude has grown a lot, What do you think, Kazuha?
Let's hear it.
Thank you all. When I was first forged, my maker was already terminally ill. Alas, after that, he never rose, nor have I ever had the chance to prove myself, and my fights were devoid of any noble meaning. They were merely the next step in my never-end. You are a fine warrior. I would like to request your hand in battle and experience a true
Oh?
I will release Amenoma Yuya and restore his consciousness. Perhaps after that, you can convince him to... You must have plenty of reasons to both hate me and desire a good fight.
Understood. Then let's start by waking him up and...
I see. I utterly despise him and his actions. If a duel can help to set this state of affairs in order, I am willing to put myself forward. I do not wish to be a mere victim.
There's no need to worry.
Thanks for your help.
All right, then let's move on. More Ronin could appear at any moment. In any case, for a final duel, I think we should aim for a greater sense of
Ja, mehr Loot. Why the heck ist hier noch eine Aufgabe? Ich habe hier 100%. Warum ist hier noch eine Aufgabe? Komisch. Ich habe gedacht, diese Herausforderungen zählen zu den 100% Map erkunden mit zu.
This reminds Paimon a bit of the Crux Club. Yep, we still can... Still. Are you ready?
Ready? Okay. Successor of Ishin art.
Successor of Amenoma art.
Honored to cross blades with you.
It is my honor.
Halt, stopp, wo muss ich jetzt wieder kämpfen?
Windstrider.
Nicht blocken. Nervig. Nein.
It's fine. As one with wind and cloud.
Thank you for the experience.
Wie einfach zweimal da war.
Although he appears battered and broken. In your hands, it seems he's regained a glimmer of brilliance, his sense of savage cruelty.
You also fought well. There are a few things that I shall leave him to tell you himself.
I must apologize to you for all that has transpired.
You need not seek my forgiveness. It is too late.
I do not wish for forgiveness. I only hope that you will see my transgressions as mine alone. I strayed far from the straight and narrow path, but the Ishin arts, I beseech you. Please.
Yes. I too trust.
Thank you, successor of Am.
This blade has also told me that he has another wish. He would like to visit the Amenoma smithy. Maybe we can go back there together.
What does he want to...
I'm not sure, but I think that all this is about to come to an end.
Und jetzt machen wir das Schwert wieder heil und bekommen das, ne? Oder bekommen wir das erst, wenn wir 2.8 komplett fertig haben?
Oh, it's you!
I am sorry to have troubled you.
A prized Ishin blade. Considering their forging philosophy, this was indeed within the realm of but I have some good news as well. Ryuji from the Bonton Sango detect-
Really? Is he okay?
Yes. Badly wounded, but he will- And now that Yuya is back, it seems-
I think I know what you want to do.
What's wrong, Kazuha? Is the blade whispering in your...
Yes. He said he wants to take control of me for a brief moment.
What? No way!
He tells me that he's thought of another way to fulfill his maker's wish. And he assures me that he won't use my body. I have decided to...
You... But...
Thank you. I will Okay. I am ready. Let us begin.
Das kennen wir ja.
My power is almost spent. Without him, my eventual demise is inevitable. But if I abandon the future to give everything I have in this moment, my physical form can be forged anew.
Everything? You mean...
Yes. The cost is my entire consciousness.
Genau. Das kennen wir aus dem Livestream.
You were right. There's nothing that I can accomplish now. But there's still a chance for Ishin art. Once remade, I will be a valuable resource for your studies. Ishin lives on, and its finest hour is yet to come. Even if I am not the one to prove its might to the Shogun, as long as it is an Ishin blade, crafted by Kaedehara hands, it will still fulfill his final wish. Thank you, son of the Kaedehara clan. Over the years, my real name has been forgotten by all. I'm ashamed to utter it, yet it remains strong in my mind. Kagotsurube Ishin. This name is now yours to keep.
Rest in peace.
So, that's why he said his consciousness will disappear forever after.
Kagotsurube Ishin. It seems like deep down he disapproved of his own actions. Only in the final moments.
Seems like he
The same fervent ambition that gave him. Speaking for myself, I understand. Perhaps this is a flaw in my personality. Hearing his wish to rival the divine light touched your quest to face the gods and trace your after everything I've seen.
Oh.
I will continue to support you from this point on.
Wait! Shouldn't we also go update Kujo Kamaji?
Oh, you're right. And it's also time to give him a response to...
Was schauen. Ist das noch? Ne. Okay.
Take it easy.
You've returned. The Tenryou Commission has already attended to the danger at the warehouse.
Wow! You should.
Then we needn't recount all the details again. Now, as to your earlier offer, I wish to give you my answer.
What's this?
Kagotsurube Ishin. A weapon crafted using a long-lost blade forging art of the Kaidahara clan. By means of a series of fortuitous events, I was able to recover and restore him. I also promised him that I will continue to study, and so it looks like I will likely continue with my journey.
I see. I understand.
The Kaidahara clan has always been a family of bladesmiths, so it is only proper for me to continue on this path. Were I to accept your goodwill, I may find myself embroiled in conflicts between the shogunate and Sangonomiya. That would not suit me.
You misunderstand. That was most certainly not our intent.
I am aware, but I still desire to continue walking my own path.
Very well. I can understand. However, if you should ever change your mind or...
Great.
Where will you travel to next,
I'll probably take to the seas with... As for my next destination, let's see where the wind takes me.
Schade. Ist halt nur normal. Also es ist natürlich ein cooles Schwert. Aber wir kriegen das Leuchten halt nicht. Also haben wir zwei ehemalige verfluchte Schwerter. Beide haben, als wir das erste Mal bekommen haben, haben sie schön geleuchtet und beide haben jetzt aufgehört, schön zu leuchten.